Well, hi there, Jesus freak. I'm Raina. Nice to meet you. I just found your year-old 12 Questions to Atheist video and felt the need to respond, so here we go. Number 1. What would you need in order to become a believer? I would need proof, evidence, anything concrete. I'm a logical thinker. I need logical proof, anything reasonable, something I couldn't dispute. That is what I would need to become a believer. Number 2. Why am I an atheist? I'm an atheist because I was born an atheist and was never convinced otherwise. I'm a big fan of the philosopher John Locke, who, maybe you know this, made the tabula rasa theory, which is that everyone's born with kind of a blank slate. No one has preconceived notions when they're born. No one is born with ideas or anything, you know. Everything is taught, you know. Of course, granted, people perceive things in different ways and react to things in different ways. Thus, two people raised in the same circumstances can come out completely different, but as a general rule, you know, people are affected by their environments, and you know, people are taught their ideas by their environments and by the people around them. You know, no one's born Christian, no one's born Hindu, no one's born Muslim or Jewish. They're raised that way. And so, yeah, why am I an atheist? Because I was born that way, and no one ever convinced me there was a God, and I could never convince myself there was God. Number 3. Why do you think a belief in deity has permeated almost every society and culture from the dawn of mankind, or since the dawn of mankind, pardon me? It's because humans are curious. And, you know, back when humanity and human beings, Homo sapiens were first developing, you know, we didn't have the science, the technology to find the actual explanations for things. So, you know, we were stuck looking to supernatural beings to answer questions that we couldn't answer, you know. So the people who were developing in Mesopotamia and the Fertile Crescent, you know, why did the Nile flood? Why did the Tigris flood? You know, what brought these waters? You know, how did crops grow? Why did the sun rise and set? How did the moon change phases? We didn't have, you know, the means to find the actual reasons for these. So we would rely on these deities, these all-powerful beings that, you know, obviously existed to explain those things and, you know, explain why right was right and wrong was wrong. And, you know, it was just people trying to find an explanation for things they had no idea what was causing them. And it's just a natural reaction for human beings to want to know why things are happening around them. Number 4. Why does existentialism make sense to you? I don't get how existentialism doesn't make sense to some people. I don't understand how people can think there's some almighty being giving them and everyone else this ultimate purpose, you know. I think that, you know, one of our main reasons for living, continuing to live, you know, there's no reason to stay alive other than the reason that you give yourself, you know, the meaning, the purpose you give yourself. And, you know, everyone's different. Everyone is going to have to find their own meaning or purpose, and no one's going to have the same reason for being as someone else, because no one is exactly the same as someone else. And so I think the only logical way to find one's purpose in life is to, you know, gather it from your own information, from your own experiences. So that's why existentialism makes sense to me. 5. Of either faith, Islam or Christianity, which of these two makes the most sense to you? You must pick one. I can't. You're asking me to do the impossible here, buddy. I can't pick one because neither makes more sense to me. Neither one makes sense at all to me, because both require a solid belief in a deity, which I can't even imagine that kind of belief in a deity. It doesn't make sense to me. There's no way I can conceive of it. I can't even hypothetically pick one. Sorry. Number 6. Have you ever, even for a moment, believed in a god or gods? No, I have not. I was raised in a Jewish household, so, you know, there was the belief in God surrounding me. You know, I was raised Jewish in a Jewish community, went to synagogue all the time, but I never actually, from what I can remember, honestly believed in God. And in fact, it was only when I was, you know, about 10 that I realized that other people actually did believe in God. I just kind of took God as sort of a mythological being who was there to, you know, teach us lessons and morals. Kind of like a fairy tale, you know, the moral of the story is. God was that kind of moral, mythological creature for me. And it was only once I started, you know, actually thinking about other people than myself when I was, like I said, about 10, that I started realizing, wow, people actually, you know, base their entire existence on the belief in this being, you know? And that has actually never made sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me, so I'd have to say no. I've never, in my life, actually believed in God. Number 7. If you die as an atheist, are you prepared to go to hell? That whole hell thing is a big assumption for you to make. I can't really answer this very well because it's kind of like me asking you if you're ready to go to Atlantis. It's just kind of outlandish and doesn't make sense. But you know, let's just say, for argument's sake, that God and hell do exist. Yes, then I would be prepared to go to hell. Because if I find out that there's a God that exists that is willing to send half of his children to burn in eternal torment, that's not really a deity I want to worship. Number 8. Morality seems to change with the times in the atheist community. Why are morals so subjective? Buddy, morals are subjective in every community, not just the atheist community. I mean, you know, good and evil, in my opinion, are entirely relative. You know, no one is going to think the same things are evil that someone else thinks. I think the Westboro Baptist Church is evil. Do they think they're evil? No. So, you know, evil and good and right and wrong are completely subjective and completely relative. So there's no way to say that morality is not relative, because morality is based on the conception of right and wrong, good and evil. And, you know, even if you look at Christianity, my friend, it's subjective. You know, think of the Inquisition, okay? The Inquisition, it was completely moral to torture people into admitting that they believed in God, or lying that they believed in God. And, you know, now, would you honestly torture someone until they said they believed in Jesus Christ? I'd like to think that you wouldn't. I mean, you might, but it's kind of creepy, dude. But yeah, you might like to think that Christianity's morals aren't subjective and aren't relative to the times, but they are.